Okay, hello and welcome to page 2 of volume 2 of my graphic novel of comic strips titled Found Earth. Just carrying along, chugging along pretty quick. Still maintaining the pace of about a page a week. Between the writing and drawing and getting it all out and making these videos, that's about the pace that I can handle. I'm currently also posting on Webtoon. It's an app you can find in your app store, and you can look me up that way. I kind of like posting the page at the beginning of the video so that we can see where we're going with this first project. Yeah, we're chugging along here. With this video, I guess I'm going to acknowledge that I've completely stolen a gag from the Wile E. Coyote and Roadrunner cartoons, which I love, by the way. I grew up with this stuff. They were showing them on Saturday mornings at, I think they were the last cartoons to air on Saturdays when I was growing up. I didn't have cable, so we had regular TV. And they would show Saturday morning cartoons, from like 5 in the morning until noon. And so I got to watch a lot of really cool stuff, and the Looney Tunes were the last ones for the day, and then I had to get up and go do stuff. So that was my childhood on Saturday morning, full of cereal, Pop-Tarts, whatever, wrapped up in a blanket watching Saturday morning cartoons. And that was fun, especially when it wasn't soccer season and I didn't have to get up and go play in the rain and all that. As a kid, it wasn't nearly as much fun as when I was a teenager, so that was it. I like, the scenes where the coyote finds himself in a situation and looks directly at the screen at the viewer and just kind of shrugs or is like, uh-oh, like reality just hit. So that was fun, and I fully admit that I pulled directly from that, and it's just a throwback to a very pleasant part of my childhood and part of my inspiration. And so, I pulled from that. For some reason, I started with a regular number 2 pencil. I have no idea why. Maybe I misplaced my carpenter's pencil. I'm not sure. But it goes totally against what I normally do, and I have no explanation for it. Maybe it's because I was working with an awfully tight idea of what I wanted to do already. I don't know. Some of these poses were hard and difficult to work out, and so I pulled a sheet of paper over, that I did the roughs in, and pulled the roughs in and work on those as a separate sheet of paper. Trees are always fun to draw. I like doing them. I've always liked doing them, especially since high school. They're just fun, organic shapes that you get to fill space with, and the negative spaces are interesting as well. This is just a standard pine tree that goes really, really tall. Just because I wanted that epic Lord of the Rings type landscape. If I was working differently, I would probably make that panel a double-page spread just to show off the magnificence of the landscape. But I'm working this way with the one-page comic strip. So that's what you get. You get a really tall tree looking out over a landscape. I personally wouldn't do that because I'm very much afraid of heights. It's interesting to try to show motion with a single image. So I like to experiment with different ways of doing that. The branch with him bouncing up and down on it is an interesting take on the whole thing, showing it at the different levels of the swaying. That instance where the branch cracks and he looks at the viewer, the reader. That's the payoff for me. That's the callback to Wile E. Coyote, and I greatly enjoyed doing this. It made me chuckle every time I looked at it. So I was a little giddy with it, and I'm not afraid to say that. So, lesson to take from this: be aware. Yeah, be aware of what you're doing and how it affects your environment and yourself. Awareness. It'll keep you safe. It'll keep you happy, especially if you can be aware of what's going on and how it's affecting you. Then you can get to a place where you're really happy. You can start setting goals if you're aware. You can start planning for good things, and being aware of what could go wrong if something's going to go wrong, but not letting it hinder you. You can't be afraid. Can't be afraid of what could go wrong, but being aware of it gives you a certain level of protection, I think. At least you're not blindsided, and you can have a plan of action in the back of your head. But also being aware of what could go right is a very good thing to have, because then you know what your course is and you know what direction you're going. And you know, or at least have some idea of getting to a place of contentment, I guess. Doesn't necessarily need to be happy, it can be content. Content is underrated. So, yes, awareness. And sometimes all you can do is watch somebody else crash and burn. You can give them advice, but a lot of times people need to learn on their own. And I know that I've found that I need to learn on my own an awful lot. People can tell me anything, but I'm getting older, I'm getting smarter, I guess, wiser, so I'm learning to take advice when it comes, but I have to process it and I have to do with it what I will. So, yeah, at this point, I guess I should say thank you for watching. We're nearing the 10-minute mark, we're almost to 9 minutes. And so I wanted to thank you all for watching. If you're watching this on YouTube, hop over to patreon.com/AlanDunlap, all one word, and throw in a buck or two and contribute to the creation of more artwork. I appreciate it. I'll be sure and mention you in the video, and we'll go from there. Thanks to Scott Snyder and Joe Landon for contributing all the way through this. Appreciate it. The money's going towards art supplies to keep this going, and we'll get it done. A company called Ashcan Comics Publishing is interested in putting this out there, so we're in talks and negotiation for that. So look up Ashcan Comics. Give them a peek. They're on Patreon as well, and I think we're almost out of time, so I guess I will talk to you next week, and we'll see what we can ramble about then. Alright, have a good week. Bye.